Hi, this is Nick Lowry at Windsong Dojo, and it's my buddy Kyle Sloan, and we're going to go over some basic variations that come up when approaching San Kata. Sometimes when people get into this work in their Aikido and they start in their later years or their middle age, their knees are not always in great shape, and when it comes to doing San Kata or the other Koryu katas, Koryu Dai San and Koryu Dai Ichi and Koryu Dai Go, and Dairoku, you have these problematic phases because there's a bunch of kneeling, there's a bunch of seiza, work from Suwariwaza down in these kind of forms down here. And if your knees aren't ready to do this sort of activity, and no amount of conditioning on some people's knees is going to get them ready to do this sort of activity, it's potentially injurious and very painful to try to force yourself to go through it and to do the whole activity of working the katas from the seiza position. So for these older folks and folks that have bad knee problems, we don't want to limit their training time, and so we've developed forms of this same kata sets that all happen from chairs. We put a little bit of foam under the chair so it doesn't mar up the surface of the floor. But basically, we're going to go through the activities that happen in San Kata, but accommodate them from a seated position, which is actually much more common in our world than being in a seiza form to begin with. So it has its own particular logic behind it, and it basically expresses the same functionalities that we see. They're just done a little more subtly. It is important that if you train your kata in this particular way, to do them from a chair rather than from seiza, you do need to go back and study the forms in seiza carefully enough to understand the body dynamics that you're imbuing into this seated form. First of all, we're not sitting way back in the chair and leaning back. It's not, we're not training you to be at home in the easy chair as you're being attacked, although you can wind up doing it that way. We'd like you to keep both feet nicely firm on the floor and your posture elevated and upright. You're dealing with the person directly in front of you, and we're not leaning on the chair. The spine is erect on the chair, and the weight of your body is going straight down through the spine into the base of the pelvis on the sits bones. And so you don't want to arch back and be curled. You want to be in this forward expression, like with the slight arch in your low back. That's critical because we need that arch in the low back in order to operate from the hips correctly, just as we do in seiza. In the first attack, the man comes in, and we'll just look at the attack first. He's raising up to begin to approach and hit us, and as he raises up, we're going to meet it, right? His hand is coming straight up the center line, right into us, and if we did nothing, he would just come right up and be blasting us back. As that's occurring, as he rises, we're going to rise with it and touch his face. The second hand comes to accommodate the elbow right here. And from here, we make a little change. We're going to change in our hips. I'm going to turn my hip to one side and rotate in the chair. My whole body turns and my legs turn so that my feet are both pointing in this direction, down the line of this elbow. From here, we're going to guide him down and to the side, right here, and control the elbow quite naturally. So in this form, we've had a lot of success, even with older folks upwards into their 70s, being able to deal with the attack coming in. Stop, turn the hip, and down we go. Very simple. Basic Oshi Taoshi form.